In our pockets, on our desks, and in the skies above, a hidden force powers the modern world: rare earth elements. Though we rarely see them, these metals are woven into the fabric of our daily lives, quietly enabling the technology we depend on. These 17 obscure metals are the backbone of smartphones, electric cars, wind turbines, and advanced military technology. From the vivid colors on our screens to the silent spin of a car's motor, rare earths make the impossible possible, driving innovation in ways most people never realize. For decades, the US and its allies have depended on China for these critical materials. China's dominance in mining and processing has shaped the global supply chain, making it the world's primary source for rare earths. Now China is tightening its grip, disrupting global industries and leveraging its near monopoly for strategic advantage. With a single policy change, China can send shockwaves through markets affecting everything from consumer electronics to national defense. The US imports nearly 3/4 of its rare earths from China, even for sensitive defense and green energy sectors. This reliance leaves critical industries vulnerable, raising urgent questions about security and self-sufficiency. Recent tensions over Taiwan have led China to impose targeted export restrictions, halting production lines and threatening military readiness. The ripple effects are felt worldwide, as manufacturers scramble to find alternatives and governments brace for further disruptions. The world is scrambling to build new, secure supply chains. Nations are investing in mining, refining, and recycling, hoping to break free from dependence and ensure a steady flow of these vital resources. This is more than a trade dispute. It's a race to control the future of technology and global security. Whoever controls rare earths will shape the next era of innovation, defense, and economic power. The stakes have never been higher. As the world watches, the battle for rare earths is redefining the balance of power for generations to come. Rare earth elements aren't actually rare, but extracting and refining them is difficult, costly, and hazardous. These 17 metals, including neodymium, praseodymium, and europium, are essential for powerful magnets, vibrant screens, and advanced optics. They're found worldwide, but processing them generates toxic waste and often involves radioactive materials. Neodymium magnets power everything from smartphones to wind turbines and missile guidance systems. Without rare earths, electric vehicles would be heavier, and advanced defense systems would be impossible. Their market value is small, about $12 billion, but they enable industries worth trillions. Control over rare earths means control over the pace of global innovation. A small supply disruption can cripple entire industries. That's why these elements are a powerful geopolitical tool. The nation that controls rare earths shapes the future. China's dominance in rare earths is no accident. It's the result of a decades-long state-led strategy, meticulously planned and executed at the highest levels of government. This approach has transformed China from a minor player into the undisputed global leader in these critical resources. In the 1980s, China invested heavily in mining, research, and processing, accepting environmental costs others wouldn't. While other nations hesitated due to pollution and high costs, China pressed forward, prioritizing long-term strategic gain over short-term concerns. This willingness to bear the environmental burden set China apart and laid the foundation for its future dominance. By flooding the market with cheap rare earths, China drove Western producers out of business. Their aggressive pricing strategy made it nearly impossible for competitors to survive, forcing many mines in the US, Australia, and elsewhere to shut down. The US, once a leader, saw its mines and plants close as China took over. Decades of expertise and infrastructure were lost, leaving the West dependent on Chinese supply chains for these essential materials. Today, China mines about 70% of the world's rare earths and refines over 90%. Its dominance extends from extraction to processing, giving it control over nearly every stage of the supply chain. Even non-Chinese ore is often sent to China for processing, creating a global bottleneck. This means that even countries with their own rare earth deposits remain reliant on Chinese expertise and infrastructure to turn raw minerals into usable materials. This monopoly gives Beijing immense leverage over rivals' tech and defense industries. Rare earths are vital for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced military hardware, making China's control a strategic advantage. China can influence prices, reward allies, and punish adversaries at will. Its grip on the market allows it to use rare earths as a powerful tool in international negotiations and economic disputes. The world outsourced a vital supply chain to a strategic competitor, often underestimating the risks. Now, industries across the globe are scrambling to secure alternative sources and reduce their dependence on China. Only now, as China flexes its muscle, are the consequences fully clear. The vulnerability of global supply chains has become a pressing concern for governments and businesses alike. The global balance of power is at stake, and the world is waking up to the reality that control over rare earths means control over the future. China has weaponized its rare earth dominance with a wall of export controls. Recent bans target not just raw materials, but the technology needed to process them. Restrictions on gallium, germanium, and graphite have already disrupted Western industries. In 2025, China added heavy rare earths and magnets to its control list, hitting automakers and defense contractors. The latest move, new export restrictions on Japan, directly linked to political tensions over Taiwan. These controls create uncertainty for global manufacturers, who now face the risk of sudden supply cutoffs. Companies and nations are being forced to rethink their supply chains. The message is clear: access to China's critical minerals is no longer guaranteed. The era of easy global trade in rare earths is over. The U.S., the world's largest economy and military, relies heavily on China for rare earths. In 2023, 74% of U.S. rare earth imports came from China, a vulnerability with serious national security implications. These elements are irreplaceable in defense. F-35 jets, destroyers, and precision munitions all depend on them. Civilian life is just as affected. Smartphones, laptops, and electric vehicles all require rare earths. The green energy transition is also at risk, as wind turbines and EV motors depend on Chinese supply. This dependency is the result of decades of offshoring and cost-cutting. The U.S. has some mining capacity, but lacks large-scale processing. China controls the critical link. Without a domestic supply chain, America's technological and military edge is at risk. The need for change is urgent. China's willingness to weaponize rare earths was made clear in 2010 during a dispute with Japan. After a territorial clash, China quietly halted all rare earth shipments to Japan, then the world's largest importer. Japanese industries, hybrid cars, electronics, robotics were thrown into crisis as prices soared and supplies vanished. The embargo lasted 2 months, ending only when Japan released a detained Chinese captain. Though China denied political motives, the message was unmistakable: rare earths could be used as leverage. The incident triggered a decade-long Japanese effort to diversify supply and reduce dependence on China. For the US and Europe, it was a stark warning about the risks of strategic dependency. Economic interdependence had become a weapon. The battle for critical resources had begun. The world took notice. In response to China's tightening grip on the rare earth market, the US and its allies are urgently racing to build a new, independent supply chain for these critical minerals. The stakes are high, as rare earths are essential for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced military technology. Billions of dollars are being poured into domestic mining, new processing facilities, and international partnerships. Governments and private companies are working together to reduce reliance on Chinese supply, seeking to secure a stable flow of these vital resources for the future. The U.S. Department of Defense is funding projects like MP Materials' Mountain Pass mine in California, aiming to close the processing gap and ensure that American industry has access to the materials it needs for both civilian and defense applications. Australia's Lynas, one of the few non-Chinese producers, is building a major processing facility in Texas. This plant will refine ore outside of China, marking a significant step toward diversifying the global supply chain and reducing vulnerabilities. Canada and Greenland are also emerging as promising new sources of rare earths. However, both regions face environmental concerns and political debates over mining's impact, which could slow progress despite their vast mineral potential. A recent U.S. executive order has tied mineral security directly to global alliances, encouraging friendshoring, a strategy that prioritizes sourcing from trusted partners and allies to build a more resilient network. The Arctic's vast, untapped deposits are drawing new geopolitical interest. U.S. lawmakers have visited Greenland to discuss cooperation, hoping to secure access to these resources before rivals do. Meanwhile, Vietnam has banned the export of unprocessed rare earth ore, signaling its intention to develop its own domestic industry and move up the value chain, rather than simply supplying raw materials to others. The scramble for rare earth alternatives is global, urgent, and increasingly complex. Nations are competing and collaborating, each seeking to secure their own future in a rapidly shifting landscape. The outcome of this race will shape not only the future of technology and security, but also the balance of power in the 21st century. Building a secure rare earth supply chain is one of the West's greatest industrial challenges. It's not just about new mines. Processing, refining, and environmental standards make the task daunting and expensive. Japan's decade-long effort shows how hard it is to break China's grip. Western nations must invest billions and accept higher costs to ensure security and resilience. Environmental concerns will make Western rare earths more expensive but cleaner. The rare earth standoff is a microcosm of a larger global shift. Security now trumps efficiency. China has shown it will use economic leverage for political goals. The outcome will determine who sets the rules for the 21st century economy. The world is watching to see if the West can secure the invisible engine of modern life.